let's start with the most obvious, biggest one, Bradley Beal. First of all, do you think he's actually going to get traded? Do you think it's going to take him requesting a trade to get traded? Or how do you see this playing out?
I think the best package right now, and I think it's going to be available already on the table for the Wizards, is the Miami Heat's package. Hero, Precious Achua, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, and picks. Like, you're getting a decent amount of young talent. You're getting a starting backcourt in Nunn and Hero. You're getting I don't know if you want to start him, but you're getting a six-man or a starting small forward in Duncan Robinson. And Precious Achua, in my opinion, can start at the 5 or 4 eventually. So you're getting a lot of starters who are young in their 20s, and you're getting picks. I think that's a good package, and I think the Heat instantly accept that too, because Dragic, Beal, Butler, Bam, that's a crazy team.
The Heat, that would be a crazy team for the Heat because they wouldn't even be giving up their defense. They're trading away
Yeah,
their worst defensive players
yeah,
in Robinson, Hero, and Kendrick Nunn. For Kendrick Nunn's not that bad, but for Bradley Beal, and they probably get even better on offense. It gives them another guy who can, like Jimmy Butler. It's weird. Jimmy Butler can carry the fourth quarter, the last 6 minutes
yeah,
of the playoff game, but I'd way rather have Bradley Beal carrying my offense for the first 3.5 quarters. That would be insane. And for the Wizards, while you don't get like a franchise cornerstone player, you're like one superstar away from being like a legit playoff team with
playoff
that
team.
core, I think. And if
Yeah,
they get like a Cade Cunningham or an Evan Mobley or something in the draft, that's like a fun young team right away. And they turned around their fortunes kind of instantly with that trade. I really like that.
yeah. And another thing with that package is a lot of people don't think about this, but marketing is something NBA fan bases and I'm not fan base, but NBA front offices think about. And Tyler Hero is probably one of the most marketable
Yeah.
players, young players in the game right now. And if he does make a step up to a 24-point scorer or 25-point scorer, like he could be up there with the top jersey sellers in the league. So it's just, and like, I'm not saying he can't do it too, because remember, he's playing behind Bam, Dragic, Butler, and he still was able to average 20 in a Eastern Conference Finals. So when he has his own team and when he has Kendrick Nunn, who has good chemistry with feeding him, he has spacing with Duncan Robinson and Davis Bertans. He has a decent 3-and-D guys, Denny Avisha and Rui. I think he could do something decent there.
I agree. And yeah, and for the Heat, I think they missed out. They were kind of in the leading candidate for the Giannis 2021 free agency sweepstakes, and they're obviously missed out on that. So this might be their best chance at getting a star to try to get them over that hump and maybe actually overcome the Lakers in the finals this year. This is the most likely trade package in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if he does get traded this season, this is probably the one that's going to happen.
The Wizards, I think for them, I would rank the packages in Simmons, MPJ, Hero. But I think the Hero one is the one that they're going to get offered.
Yeah, I agree. But let's say that that the Hero one is the most likely one this season. But let's say Philly is a second round exit this
Yeah.
year. Then I think the Ben Simmons one is probably the most likely trade on the table. So obviously Victor Oladipo already has been traded this season. The Rockets have been better than expected, especially defensively. They've actually been really good since
Second
they made that
best.
trade. Second best
Second
defensive
best.
team in the league since they made that trade. But Victor Oladipo is on the final year of his contract. If the Rockets don't think that they're going to bring him back at the price tag that he's going to want a max. Do you think he could actually get traded this season again before the
Yeah,
deadline?
he wants to go to Miami. Like that's what the reports have been. And they don't want to give up Tyler Hero for him, or else they would have had him already. So if they're able to get Duncan Robinson, it might happen. Like that's kind of the swap
Wow.
that's here: Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn.
Wow.
And Duncan Robinson's also only has 1 year left on his contract, so I could see that happening.
So you don't think Oladipo wants to stay in Houston?
No, I think he
Going to
wants.
re-sign in Houston?
I think he really, really wants Miami. I think he's
Miami.
just like. I think he's so drawn to that culture, playing with
Yeah.
Bam and Jimmy, and I think if Duncan Robinson's contract, they're obviously in contract discussions right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Duncan Robinson's like, hey, I'm not signing that $14 million deal that you have available for me. He's like, I want that Joe Harris money, 16, 17, because I think I'm as good as him, which is fair for him to ask, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I think they're looking at that move because you could get Victor Oladipo for 4, 5, 6 more million, and he could be a way better defender and
Yeah.
player than Duncan Robinson.
So you don't think Kendrick Nunn would have to be in that deal?
Well, Kendrick Nunn would be in that deal too,
Yeah.
but I don't
Yeah.
think Miami thinks twice about moving him because
Yeah.
he's not
No.
even in the rotation.
Like if they can't get Beal, Oladipo is like the next best thing if he's
And they're keeping
playing
Hero.
anywhere near his potential, and they're keeping Tyler Hero. So that's a great move for Miami. Pretty
Yeah,
pretty decent for Houston. The team, like you
yeah,
mentioned before, I want to see him go to Dallas. I think he'd be perfect on Dallas if
yeah,
he plays to his potential. He moves Porzingis to the third option. He becomes a second option. The perfect player, the perfect guard to play off Luka. He can guard the best perimeter guy
yeah,
on the team. He can handle the ball when he needs to. He can just run around and be athletic and shoot and attack the basket when he's playing off Luka. When Luka's on the bench, he can run the offense. So that would just be the perfect trade, in my opinion. The
yeah.
question is, what would it take to make that happen?
Yeah, and I think they're also waiting for the off season, just
Yeah,
like
because he's
see
going to
if
be a
he's
free agent. Just sign him in the offseason.
yeah, and they want to see him commit there rather than them trade for him
That's
and
fair.
then him be like, hey, I want to go to Miami.
Yeah,
So if Victor Oladipo gets traded, it's Miami or he just stays
interesting.
because that's the only team that's confident that's like, hey, he's going to resign here if we give him a contract.
Thanks for watching. Listen to the Stretch the Floor podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram.